Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy Bengaluru. This is topic of the day discussion, and in today's topic we are going to see a very relevant topic as well as hot topic in the world, that is new phase of war in Syria. If you are reading newspaper, the front pages of all the newspapers and the Twitter is trending about Syria. Okay, so we'll see why it is trending, why it is in news. Okay, what is the war, and we also try to understand the background behind this war. Okay, so it is in news because Syria has been in a prolonged war since 2001, okay, 2001, 2011, and the prolonged civil war has gained renewed global attention following a significant rebel offensive. Insurgents have seized Aleppo, the country's largest city, along with numerous nearby towns and villages. The offensive marks the most intense clashes since 2020 ceasefire. Okay, so in recent years, this has been the largest attack by the offensive rebels. Okay, there are many parties, Syrian government, rebels who are fighting for the control of Syria. So in one such attack, the Syrian rebels have have mounted a largest attack in recent years. That is why it is in news. So rebels have now secured full control of Dhara province, which is their third major conquest after Aleppo and Hama, with plans to target Homs and Swidia. So they are now one by one covering all the provinces of Syria. So this is pose threats to peace in the region. So before you understand the present context and before you understand the news of today, we'll have to understand the background for Syrian war. Okay, so origin of Syrian war began around the Arab Spring of 2010, which saw uprisings across the Middle East and North Africa against long-standing authoritarian governments. Okay, people might have heard about Arab Spring. What is Arab Spring? Arab Spring is like people's movement in Arab region. What are the countries that comes under Arab region? Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and northern parts of Africa such as Algeria, Tunisia, and Syria, Lebanon, etc. All these countries come under Arab region. And this Arab Spring is nothing but a consequence or continuous revolt or continuous movements by the people of the country against the regimes. Okay, all these Arab countries were not democratic in nature. They were ruled by dictators. For example, Libya was ruled by Gaddafi and Tunisia was ruled by someone else. So this Arab Spring has its origin in Tunisia. Okay, what happened in Tunisia was people were suffering from inflation. Okay, people were suffering from inflation, and the government, instead of addressing the issues of people, they started suppressing the people. They started doing lathi charges, they started doing killing the people, they started arresting the people as they wish and will. Okay, and in those times there was very less penetration of social media, but still it was used to the full extent. There was a person who went into Europe, and from there he carried out awareness creation, okay, through like Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., etc. Okay, even though the government tried to ban all this social media, they were able to get this through VPNs and other accessories. So as a result, they started gaining more awareness. They started gaining awareness about the corruption that is happening in the government. They started gaining about the like bad happenings or auspicious life led by the dictators in those countries. So as a result, people started revolting against these people. People started revolting against the regimes. And in one such instance, there was one person in Tunisia. He was a fruit vendor. Okay, he used to sell fruits, and because of the inflation and because of the condition of his country, he went ahead and he lit himself on fire. Okay, he did suicide as a as a demonstration of protest against a regime. That was the fire. Okay, that was the fire it was needed in Tunisia. And after the death of that person, almost all the country people started revolting against the government, and within 14 to 20 days, the government regime was changed in Tunisia. And this fire spread as a wildfire to neighboring countries such as Algeria, Egypt, and other countries. Okay, in Algeria also there was a shift in the government, and in Tunisia also there was shifting government, and in Egypt also there was shifting government, and even in Libya also there was shifting government. Okay, so Gaddafi, who was a dictator in Libya, was killed by people and USA, and in place of him there was democratic government. Okay, most of the countries, and this Arab Spring also sprung into Asian part of Arab, such as like Syria, Lebanon. there was Arab Springs. There also people started revolting. In these Arab Springs, the aim was to usurp the government and have a democratic government. But this was not achieved in all the countries because it is not easy to organize a coup and to topple the complete government and bring in a new government. Okay, because it is a very hectic issue and it is a tedious function. Okay, so only in Tunisia and Egypt there was a complete shift from the government to a new government was made. Only in Tunisia and Egypt it was successful. Rest of the countries, there was a continuous wars called as civil wars. Okay, instead of a regime change, people started fighting between government and the rebels. So in almost all the countries, Libya, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen, Oman, all these countries, they started having Arab civil wars because between the government supported individuals and the rebel supported individuals. And one of the unfortunate countries was Syria. The civil war, which resulted in the democratic governments in Tunisia and Egypt, resulted in civil war in Syria. Okay, hope the background is clear now. While some countries like Tunisia and Egypt experienced the regime change, most movements were suppressed by the governments and militaries. Social media platforms, especially Twitter, played a key role in spreading pro-democracy ideas. Foreign powers, including the US, Russia, responded based on their strategic interest. Okay, USA was more vocal in Libya, and Russia was more vocal in Syria. So all the key players started playing the role in this region. And out of this, there was a civil war in Syria. There was government and there was rebel groups. Government supported by a particular power and rebels supported by another power. So the conflict in Syria, the protest emerged against President Assad, who has been in power since 2000. Okay, he is the President Assad. Who is the President Assad? He is the President of Syria. He has been in power since 2000. Okay, almost 25 years now. While Assad's regime now controls most of the country, some regions remain outside of his grasp, including Kurdish majority areas in the east, parts of the south, and regions controlled by Islamic State offshoots. Okay, so if this is Syria, not all the part of Syria is under the control of government. Some of the Aleppo, Halab region, Idlib region, these are under the control of rebel groups. Okay, so he doesn't control the complete territory of Syria. Okay, because from 2000 till 2024, there have been many groups, many organizations which have fought against the regime. One of the major organization was ISIS. What is ISIS? Islamic State of Syria and Lebanon. Okay, ISIS was Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and ISIL was Islamic State of Iraq and Lebanon. These are the two groups which wanted to establish a Islamic State based on the Caliphate, based on the Sharia rules, and this was a group named as a terrorist organizations. This was later like almost destroyed by the death of Abu Bakr, who was the head of ISIS, and after that it lost its power, but its offshoots, many of the small groups of ISIS still remain in Syria. They hold power in certain parts of the Syria. Okay, now, so in 2020 there was a ceasefire in Idlib. Idlib is the region in, okay, so Idlib is a region in here. Idlib is the region in Syria. There was a large scale fight between rebel groups as well as the government, and in order to quash this, okay, in order to stop this for war between these rebel groups and the government, there was a ceasefire. In 2020, a deal was brokered by the Turkey and Russia in March 2020, brought relative calm in the Idlib province. Turkey backed Syrian rebels, okay, whereas Russia supports Assad regime. Since the ceasefire, HTS, what is HTS? It is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is a former Al-Qaeda affiliate, has maintained de facto control of Idlib. Okay, though there was ceasefire, the Idlib province was not controlled by the government. Instead, it was controlled by an Al-Qaeda affiliate. What is Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda is again a terrorist group which was initially controlled by, what is this name? Bin Laden. Okay, Bin Laden, which was based in Afghanistan. It has many offshoots, many affiliates. One of those affiliates was HTS, that is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Presently, this Idlib province is controlled by HTS. Okay, what is HTS? HTS was designated as a terrorist group by US, Russia, and Turkey, and has a complex relationship with Turkey. It has been designated terrorist group by United Nations also. Turkey acts as Idlib's protector, shielding it from large-scale attacks by Assad's forces and their Russian allies. Okay, and simultaneously, Turkey controls the border, facilitating trade and taxation critical to HTS operations. So Turkey has a complex relations. Turkey, one part of the, like, sometimes it supports and it controls HTS, and in some part times it is against HTS. Okay, so it depends. Geopolitics depends on their interest. So now we understood the background. So before we understand the present context, before we understand why the present new attack has happened, we have to understand the players which are relevant in Syrian war. Key players in Syria's long-running civil war. First and foremost is Syrian government, which is led by President Bashar al-Assad. Okay, against him there was Arab Spring. Against him there was Arab Spring. People consider him to be dictator. He has been in power since 2000. Okay, dictator. The Syrian government has been central to the civil war since 2011. So Arab Spring was around 2010. Post Arab Spring, many wanted the like government led by al-Assad to be removed and a new regime, but it was not possible. Okay, it was not completely possible in this country, and as a result, many of the people supported al-Bashar, and he still holds control in the most of the regions. As a result, there was a ensuing, okay, long-lasting civil war between Syrian government and the people were represented by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Okay, what is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham? It was initially formed as the Al-Nusra Front with the ties to the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham emerged as a major jihadist faction by 2016. Okay, these are all Islamic terrorist organizations. Their aim is to establish a state where it is ruled by caliphate or Islamic regime, where it is ruled by the Sharia rules, where it is ruled by the fundamental Islam ideals. Okay, those are the aim of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, and these ideas are against the President al-Bashar's ideas. Okay, so that is why they they are always fighting. And this group, Syrian government by Assad, is supported by Iran, Russia, and Hezbollah. Assad has regained much of the lost territory, but this Hayat al-Tahrir is supported by Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Okay, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Then there is United States. Again, anywhere any conflict is happening in the world, this person is there. Okay, this country, this player is present there. So US initially supported the opposition groups, but shifted focus to fighting Islamic State from 2014. It provides air strikes and supports the Kurdish forces, maintaining about 900 troops in Syria. Okay, initially their fight was against rebels. Initially their fight was against the opposition groups, but then it shifted its complete control or complete focus on the Islamic State. Because of their effort, along with the effort of Kurdish forces, they were able to put full stop to ISIS with the death of Abu Bakr. Now, Turkey, as I discussed, has conducted military interventions mainly against the Kurdish-led forces and how controls the parts of Syrian northern border. Okay, here this Kurdish-led forces, or who are the Kurdish? They are the indigenous people of Kurdish region. Okay, which is at present it is present in Turkey and Turkmenistan. What is their demand? The Kurdish people's demand is they want to establish a Kurdistan state out of Turkey and Turkmenistan, because they want to establish a state within the Turkey. So Turkey is against this Kurdish forces. So their interests align with the rebel forces. Okay, because HTS is against Kurdish state forces, HTS is against Syria, HTS is against Iran, HTS is against President Assad, where all the other players are against Turkey. So friends, like enemy's enemy is my friend, that kind of thing. So Russia is a key ally of Assad. Russia supported the regime with the troops, airstrikes, and military presence at the air and naval base in Syria. So because of the presence of Russia, Assad has been able to maintain power in Syria for so long. And then there is Iran and Hezbollah. Syria is part of Iran's axis of resistance, with Hezbollah playing a central role in opposing Israel and reducing the US influence in the region. Okay, very complex it is. Okay, Iran supports all the regimes which is supported by Shia government or Shia rule, whereas Saudi Arabia is against Iran and its support for Sunni governments. Okay, whereas Assad is supported by Shia government, so that is why Iran always supports them as part of their axis of resistance. What is this axis of resistance? Axis of resistance against the Western powers. Who are the Western powers? Western powers such as Israel and USA. And then Israel. Israel targets Hezbollah and Iranian positions in Syria, focusing on military personnel, weapons, facilities, and transport routes and firearms. Okay, Israel mainly has problem with Palestine. Okay, Israel mainly has problem with Palestine, but because this Hezbollah most of the times keeps coming in conflict with Israel, Israel also has problem with Hezbollah. So they keep striking Israel and they keep striking Iran forces which are present in this Syrian region. So as a result, Syria has become a war zone for all the countries. Okay, even though Syria is not directly involved in attack against Israel, even then their land is being attacked by Israel because their land is being utilized by Hezbollah. Okay, very complex, but try to understand. And there are Kurdish forces. What are the Kurdish forces? As I already explained, the US is main partner in the fight against Islamic State. Kurdish forces also face conflict with Turkey, which views them as linked to separatist insurgency, as already explained here. Okay, so very complex. All these players play in the war in Syria. Now, new phase of war in Syria. Recently, 3 days back, there was the largest insurgency attack by the rebel groups. Now, today's news is that they are almost able to approach the government. Okay, approach the government. We have to see what will the reaction to this. Okay, now surprise attack, that is on November 27. Syria's military opposition command launched an offensive against the President Bashar al-Assad forces, capturing Aleppo after the battles in Idlib, Aleppo, and Hama provinces. Okay, they captured Aleppo, which is the largest city in Syria. In response, Assad's allies Iran and Russia pledged support with the Syrian and Russian jets striking rebel-held areas in the northern Syria. So Russia and Iran are already in the move, and they are supporting Syrian government. Okay, so what is the significance of current Syrian offensive? Okay, it is significant because it is the strongest rebel efforts in years. The latest offensive by Syrian rebels represents their most significant action in recent years, since the 2020. However, Assad's regime has experience in quelling similar rebellions as seen in Aleppo in 2016, with Russian air support and a strategy being reported now. Okay, so it is not for the first time that they have gained rebels have gained the power and it has been quelled by the government. It has already happened in 2016. It has already happened in 2020, and again the same strategies being repeated with the help of Russia. Okay, and then there is regime vulnerability, meaning the attack underscores Assad's vulnerabilities with key allies like Iran, Hezbollah preoccupied elsewhere. Okay, previously what was the condition of Assad? He was supported by Russia, he was supported by Iran, he was supported by Hezbollah. Because they had free time, because they were not occupied elsewhere, they were in support of Syria, and they were able to keep HTS at bay. But now Iran is occupied with Israel, Hezbollah is occupied with Israel, and Iran is also occupied with USA, and Russia is occupied with Ukraine war. So they are not able to turn their focus towards Syria because they themselves are focusing on their own issues. Israel, supported by US, has been actively combating Hezbollah in Lebanon due to its support for Hamas. Meanwhile, Russia remains embroiled with its war with Ukraine since 2022. Russia, okay, initially said that it would take only 2 weeks for us to beat this Ukraine, and then we will move into other issues. But it has been almost 4 years now, almost 3 to 4 years, and still the Russia is not able to gain complete control of Ukraine. And then persistent regional instability. Okay, the Syrian region has always been a home to instability because of various terror groups. Despite provisional ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon on November 27, violations were reported. The Israel Defense Force conducted 2 airstrikes on the Hezbollah assets in southern Lebanon, suggesting peace in the region remains uncertain in the short term. Okay, so that is why all these issues makes Syrian war very important, very significant. Okay, we will discuss if there is any new thing comes up in the coming days. Even if you're not aware about the complete issue, you should know about certain aspects of the issue. You should know about the leaders, or you should know about the players. You should know what are their interests, and also from prelims perspective, you should know about the city names. Okay, which city comes in which state. Okay, there are many of the times match the following type of questions in UPSC prelims, especially regarding the cities in Middle Eastern countries. Aleppo, okay, has already been asked before. Okay, many of the similar cities have been asked in previously. So have a look about all these important cities. And with this, I will end today's session. If you have any doubt, Do rate in the comment box. If you like the video, then hit the like button. Also comment on it and share with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.